shocker of where he landed. BC Lions QB Nathan Rourke, who lit the league on fire last year, is now a Jacksonville Jaguar. So the news that shouldn't shock anyone, Nathan Rourke's taking his talents to Florida. Somewhat of a surprise that he chose Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars seemingly have a quarterback set to be their starter for years to come. Rourke will be competing for the number 2 spot behind, of course, franchise quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who also had a great playoff this year. Adam Schefter reported the BC Lions QB Nathan Rourke was set at CFL records last season before visiting 12 NFL teams in recent weeks. Has chosen to sign with the Jaguars. Per source, Rourke will expect to compete for the backup job with Trevor Lawrence. So if you look at this as a way for Rourke to gain valuable experience, Jacksonville makes sense. Learning the NFL ropes from a respected coach like Doug Peterson would be a great fit. Forming a partnership with Lawrence will give Rourke a solid foundation to start his NFL journey. And that was the interesting part. This wasn't about being the starter. This was about getting in the league, getting good coaching. I mean, you're talking about elite. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence. Like, you saw him in the playoffs and coming from behind. He did that because he's Trevor Lawrence. Rourke put out the following statement. I want to apologize for keeping many of you in suspense, but my corner and I wanted to make sure we did our due diligence and explore every option thoroughly. This has been a difficult decision because when I got injured last year, I battled back to return to play again with and for my brothers, the teammates and coaches at the organization that I love. It was the same people that made contemplating the decision to leave so challenging. It has been an absolute joy to play for my home province in front of so many fans and friends and family. I have thoroughly enjoyed my CFL experience. Playing the game that I love in front of my fellow Canadians has been truly special. The CFL has been an unforeseen detour. The CFL has been an unforeseen detour on my football journey, but a necessary one. And I am grateful to the Lions for allowing me to learn how to be a professional and grow on and off the field. Thank you to the entire BC Lions. Interesting detour. Thank you to the entire BC Lions organization for giving me a chance to be your quarterback, and thank you to the fans for making these past 2 seasons so memorable. Ultimately, my decision came down to my commitment to the pursuit of my dream I first had as a youngster watching Brett Favre win Super Bowls on NFL films. I'm excited to announce that the realization of that dream starts today. After much prayer, good job, brother, and deliberation, I'll be signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm looking forward to getting to work with my new teammates and coaches. So Nathan Rourke heading down to Duval. If you don't know anything about that, Duval, that's a little chant they do during the games. 4 quarterbacks that had success in the NFL after their time in BC are Joe Kapp, Doug Flutie, Trent Green, and Casey Printers. Kapp is the only one that made the direct jump to being a starter, and it was over 50 years ago. Flutie played another 6 years in the CFL after leaving the Lions before getting a shot in the NFL. Green was part of the Leos at 1994 Grey Cup squad, but was a practice squad player. He wouldn't get his shot to be a starter until 1998 with Washington. Printers earned a contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, but his time in the NFL was short-lived. The BC Lions currently have Vernon Adams Jr. slated to be their starter in 2023. Man, doesn't that trade look really smart? Breland Smith and Vad Lee have also been signed in the offseason to compete for the spot at behind center. With CFL free agency for February 14th, it would be worth watching to see if the Lions will acquire another QB with experience. Of course, right now, Bo Levi is off the table, but McLeod Bethel Thompson, Cody Fajaro, Trevor Harris could hit the open market, so we don't know there. Rourke, 24, was on a record-setting pace. He was killing it, especially in like fantasy and DFS. He was the guy to pick in 2022 before a midseason injury sidelined him for 8 games. He would finish with the highest single-season completion percentage in CFL history in 2022 with a truly impressive 78.7 completion rate, averaging 335 passing yards per game, 2.5 touchdowns per game, to show why he was in demand down south. There was damage done with his ground game as well, rushing for 304 yards with a rate of 7.8 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns. He also had 3 of the top 5 single-game performances despite only playing half the season. Whether or not this transfers to success in the NFL level is what everyone is waiting to see. Farhan Lalji reported that Rourke met with full Jag staff when he worked out there in December. Had a great advocate there in Henry Burris. We all know that name. Felt they offered him a real shot at the number 2 job in 2023. Loved the system and stability in the organization. It offered guaranteed money on first year and him with the best chance to develop. So that was from Farhan Lalji. So congratulations to Nathan Rourke hopefully being the backup to Trevor Lawrence. Got his money, got his bag, so he's good there. Clearly, if things don't work out, he will probably make his way to the CFL. But it seems like, I mean, you look at some of the other, a guy like him, most likely, even if he does it, let's say he's in Jacksonville for 2 or 3 years and they cut him for somebody else, he probably could bounce around a little bit more. Really going to be interesting to see him play in an NFL preseason game. That's something I'm excited to see.